Hi, I'm Bob Batcher, the Executive Director for Prime Plus Senior Centers, and this is Prime Time with Bob. And I'm with a very special friend who's doing super stuff in the community because of people like you. And I'm with Stephanie Gorham, the Executive Director for Volunteer Hampton Roads. Now, can I guess something? You work with volunteers.
You are right, Bob. I do.
I figured it out all on my own. Okay, so what is a volunteer?
So a volunteer is someone who gives or donates of their time, talent, skills to another organization or to the community without any monetary return. Now, they do get some kind of return. It is that satisfaction of helping, but there's no payment.
So if you're grudgingly going out the door to serve, how do you turn that around then?
I think that it would be silly to say that no one goes out to, I mean, that it never happens that you go out to volunteer and you're like, oh, ho hum. But I think
once the second time.
I don't know, it depends. I think when you go out, it's when you're in the work and when you're doing it, or after you've done it, you feel that reward. You also feel like you've learned something, hopefully. You've met new people. You've got more engaged in the community. I think that takes away the ho-hum about it.
You know, see, I've been doing volunteer work since I was about 5.
Oh my
because
gosh.
My mother came home from serving as a Red Cross volunteer at the hospital in her uniform with the cap on.
Oh, wow.
And said, you will volunteer. So I figured you got to do it. But how do you convince somebody to volunteer?
I think you just have to talk. You have to share the stories that you've done. You know, I think that's how I talk people into doing it. Just saying, you know, I went to organization ABC and got to do this, and you know what I learned about? They do this, and I learned. You know, I got to see the amazing impact on the community, and I think also showing some excitement about it helps as well.
Yeah. But at Prime Plus, we have a tenant that's major core function of ours, and that's building a safe, respectful community. And I remember one morning having a son brought his mom in and just kind of dropped her off and said, here she is. And before we could get to her about what to do around Prime Plus, she'd already been embraced by the community and said, here's breakfast. Now, this is the best class you want to go to. And by the way, there's lunch at 11:30. And she really became part of the community. And that class she went to became her class. So there was that embracing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that really what it's about?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. It's engagement. That's the way you keep, volunteers. And it's not necessarily anything that nonprofit staff need to do, because if there's a community of volunteers or clients all together, the chemistry kind of creates that engagement.
Okay, so when you're working with a nonprofit organization and they say, I need volunteers because I can't afford staff. After you've boxed my ears.
Yeah. So no, that turns into a longer conversation because we do get that question, and someone will say, we need a marketing person. Okay, well, I can't exactly go out there and just recruit just a skill-based marketing person to come in. Let's talk about what you really need. And the conversation will whittle down to some projects. Like, we really need help with redoing our logo, or we really need help building a case for support. So then I can recruit, a graphic designer. I can recruit a writer. I can web content. I mean, just, it helps me find those people. But that is a very real issue with a lot of our nonprofits. So we do get that question a lot, and it turns into a long coffee talk.
Let me flip it on you. I'm just a volunteer.
Oh, no.
Yeah, those
so
hurt,
much more than that. So much more than that. No, I mean, our volunteers are, so for instance, we have Mercy Chefs. They're pushing out like 30,000 meals a week.
Oh my gosh, the lives they are saving now in the middle of COVID is unbelievable.
Yes.
And they're doing it through Senior Services Southeast Virginia. Could not serve the hundreds and thousands of meals they've been serving without Mercy Chef. So
and
it's silent volunteering too.
their production line and packaging all those meals are volunteers.
Yeah.
They have 2 shifts every day of like 15 people each shift.
Stephanie, I'm thinking, okay, I will remember March 16th for the rest of my life, because that was the day that the doors got locked.
Yes.
And because we had to shut down for COVID, and it was really easy to say, I guess that's it. And we refused to let that happen. But can you imagine on March 17th, the phone call to Mercy Chef, can you provide X thousands of meals now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, they went from 1,500 a week to 30,000 a week now.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they're being delivered by volunteers too.
Yeah. I mean, it's really interesting too, because we've worked with them we recruit the volunteers, but they're not just one-time volunteers. And many of these volunteers have returned to recurring. Like this is now part of their daily life.
Yeah. Okay, Stephanie, I'm going to call you out because you said, well, if you need this or if you need that, Volunteer Hampton Roads can provide it, but it's not that easy.
No, it's
Where do you
not.
find that person who's a fantastic writer that's now retired?
So we're very grateful for all the partnerships we have. We have partnerships with companies. We have partnership with Civic. We have partnership with Lead Hampton Roads, Lead Peninsula. So we have a talent bank where when we recruit and talk about, these skilled volunteer, positions that you can have, we have people sign up and enter our talent bank. And our software will look through that to see if we find matches. But if we don't, we get on the phone and we do that a lot. And we start searching through these different partners that we have until we usually try to find a couple matches and let the organization pick. But it's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of talking, but I'm very good at talking a lot.
Talking. Well, and one of the things I've gotten in the habit of referring to seniors quite often is post-career, because those are the ones who, they made me retire because I'm 65, or well, they needed somebody who was more nimble than me or knew the computer, so I don't know that. And we quite often as seniors, and I'm one of them, will focus on what we don't have.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to that person who has value?
I would love for them to call me. Because I would love to learn the skills and the expertise that they have that they're willing to share, because we have so many nonprofits that need that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still very necessary.
You got it. And maybe with a little bit of coaching or engagement. I mean, I'm going to confess to you, the reason I'm doing these interviews now, these conversations, is because I had a morning where I thought I had signed in on Zoom for my second class at the very beginning of COVID, and it didn't work for me. And I figured, I'm done. I'm over it. I'm going to go read a book and sit in the back deck. And then I got connected up with a group of young people, and I said, wait a minute. And so I called I texted my daughter, who is the performer and the singer and a whole bit, and said, I'm going Facebook Live at 3:30 this afternoon, and if you don't connect with me, I'm going to make a fool of myself. And ever since then, I've been reaching out. And it's really showing me that I can still have value. Is that what volunteering is about?
It is. But it is that you have to, that first push, instead of giving up, instead of going back to your back porch and reading a book, pushing. And because so many people need you. I mean, we need expertise. We need post-career individuals to push themselves and make the call to us, because there's so many that could just really benefit from, their talent and just their engagement.
Well, hopefully we'll touch a life here. If somebody wants to volunteer, how do they get a hold of you?
You know what? I would just say, can you share my email and my phone number on here?
Yeah, I have another confession to make. I will in post-production, because I don't know how to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't either. Well, hey, I gotta tell you, I am so challenged with Zoom. You are not alone in this.
Oh, well, thank goodness for my secret weapon called Chantel. So speak your email and she'll put it on the bottom.
Oh yeah, no, my kids are lifesavers. I've got teenagers and I've got a 23-year-old, and they help me so much with all of this.
Don't admit that though.
Oh, they can't hear me. They can't hear me.
They're going to watch? No, they won't. They won't. What's your email?
Okay, my email is sgorham, GORHAM at volunteerhr.org.
We will get that on the bottom somehow.
All right.
Our
That would be,
situation.
yeah.
Stephanie, this has been awesome. Thank you for being a
Yes.
friend, and we're gonna talk more. We are gonna be reopening in a different way.
Yay.
We're gonna do what we normally have been doing for over 50 years, but we're gonna be doing it differently. So
Excellent.
Well,
I'd love to stay connected. I love what you're doing. Prime Plus is amazing. And thanks for having me on.
And my pleasure. Hey, and keep in mind, stay safe and stay connected. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.